Hello, my name is Trish. Thank you for joining me for the monthly predictions. It's prediction time again. I get so excited to read these cards and do the monthly predictions for you. Beautiful deck. I love them and they blow me away every time when they work. So I'm going to go through some of the predictions that actually happened in December before we begin the new predictions for January. I might actually do a separate reading where I do the year for 2025 and just have a little bit of an outlook of what kind of energy is going to be for 2025. But today's reading will just be for January 2025. It will just be the regular monthly reading. Now I just want to say thank you everyone that puts the comments in about the readings, because that really helps me know what's going on around the world and if these predictions are actually happening. So I do appreciate all of the comments. Just wanted to read out one of them. I think it was Becky wrote that about the flooding that happened and said how her son saved a newborn baby. That is so beautiful. What a beautiful story that was. And yeah, just want to say thank you so much for everybody that puts comments down. Now, if you're new joining my channel, thank you. I do these readings every month and just want to thank everybody that continually supports my channel and comes on to watch these videos. So let's get into some of these predictions from December. So last month I put the predictions up. I do the readings normally a few days before. Today is the 29th of December in Australia, my time. And I'll hopefully get this reading up first thing, so it might go up tomorrow, which will be the 30th in Australia, 29th in the northern hemisphere. So when I put the reading up last month, the first card of that reading was Sinking Ship, and I done the reading on the Monday and I scheduled it to go up on the Tuesday morning Australian time, so Tuesday morning at 6:30 in the morning. And then at 6:33 on the news it was about the ship sinking in the Red Sea, and I was like, wow, first card in the reading for the month, and it happens instantly as soon as basically that reading hit the internet. It was on the news that there was a sinking ship in the Red Sea, so that was amazing. Now unfortunately people lost their lives, and I have a lot of sympathy for the family or the families of the people that lost their lives in that disaster, as I do with every disaster I read on. So I find the joy in reading these cards because I love the cards. I love the predictions and to see what's happening, and I'm amazed how they work, but I don't find the joy in people losing their lives. So hopefully in some way it can help people be prepared in some way. I know sometimes when I talk about food shortages and you can just stock up on certain items, it can be very helpful knowing that there's some kind of food shortage coming. So there is ways that these readings can help you, at least give us some kind of insight into what's coming up so we can be a little bit more prepared. Now I also said when I done the reading on those first few cards that were a lot of water cards, a lot of ship cards, I said I could see flooding, and I could see like little rescue boats going to people, and I got feedback in the comments that England, Wales and Spain were in flooding, and this is where Becky said that her son was able to save some people from that disaster event that happened there in England. So it is that did happen. And they did say that in the comments I read that there were little rescue boats that I could see. I was getting visions of rescue boats in on that when I was touching those cards. So then I was getting I had the dream where I could see something in the sky. I didn't see it in the dream. I was told that people were seeing sightings in the sky. Didn't know whether it was a UFO, didn't know if it was something related to weapons or something related to new technology, but it was something people hadn't seen before because it felt like it was technology or new, and that's why people were not sure about it. And then so I mentioned that dream. I've had no dreams for this month, but I did have that dream there last month. Then I hear about the drones in New Jersey, and it's like, okay, but that felt like the energy that I was feeling in the reading. I'll run through the energy, but definitely it was sightings. So people thinking UFOs, people thinking, and I couldn't tell if it was new technology because I didn't actually see an image of it in the dream, so I couldn't explain what it looked like. But that made sense to me because I didn't see it here. It wasn't in Australia. It was overseas. It was in America. So and that's what I said in one of my comments on my other channel, is that I don't think it hits Australia because I didn't see it in the dream. But the energy I was getting around that is it wasn't quite panic, wasn't people being in a panic, but it was busyness energy. And it was like the decision makers or law enforcement not in a panic, but trying to get strategy or trying to find solutions to it. Now, I did watch an interview from the law enforcement for that area, and they were wanting answers. They were wanting answers from the federal government because the federal government was not telling them anything. And it's like they were wanting to know what they could do, send in more support to them, and that just wasn't happening. So I was picking up the energy around the decision makers, the law enforcers, those kind of things, and the busyness and the panic that was going on around them. I said it wasn't quite panic, but it was like having to make strategic decisions and around this, and having to have some kind of clarity on it because they were worried about it in a way that they didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So the energy, what I said was that they were worried about it being a bad outcome, having a very bad outcome. So they were trying to find solutions to make it not such a bad outcome. Now that could either be like that the New Jersey law enforcement trying to get help from the federal government to help them deal with the issue because they didn't know how to deal with it or how to work around it, trying to get information or help from the federal government. But it could have also been, they say that they were searching for nuclear weapons. Now, if that was the case and they were searching for nuclear weapons, because I did say in the drone reading that I'd done that it was, I could see spraying, and I could also see something around radiation as well, as what I was getting, health issues around radiation. That could be the nuclear subs, or it could be something coming off those drones. But what I did get around that drone energy was that trying to make a decision around that. Sorry, that's my notes. So it was intense energy. It went right around the world, very, very intense. And I did say it was intense energy. I felt the energy to be very intense, much like it was a few months ago. So something and something big. And I did say that something big is going to happen. And I was trying to do 5 separate predictions, but I kept saying it's like it's coming back to this one big prediction. It's big energy. And I think that was the drones, because that just hit everywhere around the world, and it's like people were so confused, and that seems to be where all the energy went. Now also, we did have early in the month, we had California on high alert for a tsunami. I didn't get any tsunami cards, but I did get trying to move because they were relocating people off the water's edge, so trying to relocate certain people. And I did get trying to they're worried about the structure maybe of that area, because I talked about a weakness in structure, and I think it's because it was where that California earthquake hit. There's something about the place, that point where that earthquake hit, so that, and it being a structural weakness in that particular area, which is why they were so concerned about California, maybe even San Francisco. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they were looking at trying to relocate certain people off the coast there. So I feel like that was the structural damage that they were worried about from the earthquake or that hit out of California earlier in the month. Now, we also said that there was something around the scandal came back to light around the P. Diddy scandal, and I said somebody may have been backstabbed or betrayed. What happened further to that scandal was that Jay-Z was mentioned in the scandal, so there was some kind of lawsuits up around Jay-Z. So I think that was, now I don't know if he was betrayed or backstabbed, I don't know, and I don't know if he betrayed or backstabbed somebody, I don't know, but that's the cards that came up around that scandal, was there was some kind of backstabbing or betrayal that went along with that scandal part of it. And the new part of that we got was the Jay-Z involvement there. Okay, I also said in that reading that my UFO radar was going off, and that hasn't happened for a very long time, but then all of a sudden in that month it was like UFO talk everywhere. Everyone was talking and looking for UFOs, so I was sensing some kind of, now whether there was UFOs or not, I'm not sure, perhaps there was, like, because we were talking about orbs as well, as it wasn't just the drones, there was orbs as well that were spotted, and perhaps they were UFOs, because I was actually picking up radar, psychically radar on UFOs, and I did mention that as well. So I do think there was something related to UFOs in that, even if the drones were some kind of man-made technology. Not sure. Okay, but I know it happened. It was predicted in the predictions, and it did happen. I just don't have an answer as to what they are. And I did say that in the reading too. I said I can't tell if it is UFO, new technology, or something related to weapons, which could very well be. Now, also I got here around, I kept getting the mountain card, the volcano card's been coming up in a lot of my readings lately, a lot of the American readings, a few different readings. I keep getting this standalone volcano card on its own, and the Hawaii volcanoes just went off only a couple of days ago, so that I think may be the answer to that card, because I said I don't know why it's come out. I've got to read it as volcano because it says volcano, and I have been getting it for a couple of months now. It's been warning me about a volcano, and then we have the Hawaiian volcano, so I think that is what that is. So I feel like there was quite a lot of those predictions from December did come to light, did happen, and I feel like maybe even all of them happened that I mentioned, but the big energy I feel like was the New Jersey drones. So let's clear all this energy and let's see what January 2025 brings. Back. Okay, so I've got a few different ones scattered around. I was going to read them all in one big layout, but they've jumped out in separate piles again, which shows me different separate predictions. So let me just try and tap into the energy here first of all. Now, our first card on the table is heavy rains and floods. This is our first card that's on the table here at the moment. Now, security cameras or cameras, something captured on footage of something in a big city, makes big news. I don't want it to sound like the December predictions, but this is what's showing here for January. People capturing something on their cameras in a big city that makes big news. Below big news is a pandemic of some sort or a crisis of some sort, because we've got health crisis or pandemic. So it can be related to a pushing the narrative of a health crisis or a health pandemic, a bit of a scare, or there could be changes coming because of that. So trying to make changes using the basis of a health scare or a pandemic. But big news around, could be the health industry actually, could be big news around the health industry. Changes coming. What this is making me think about is the CEO. I'm not saying this is going to happen again unless we're going to see some kind of other footage around this, but I'm getting something around the CEO that was shot, Luigi Mangione. Now, that could be forcing the health industry, the CEOs, the insurance companies to make changes to the way they do things because of they're in crisis mode. This is a little bit logical here, so let me just try and take it more prediction. But I've got to say that because that was one thing that I just kind of picked up on when I touched into that card. On the bottom here we've got the transport of people, which is indicating migrants of some sort, so people transportation, and consequences for damage done relating to the transport of people. Now, they could be facing consequences for what they've done, for the actions they've done around the transporting of people or immigration. The other thing that I'll read out that was down the bottom here, scandal around, wrong reading. So we've got war downgraded because it's got battleship or warship, so battle warship, so a battle or a war downgraded. So possibly related to funding or finances, because we've got the currency or bankruptcy. Sorry, not even bankrupt. I don't know why I read bankruptcy then. Sometimes when you slip like that, it's for a reason, but we've got banking or currency connected to the downgrading of war or battle. Could be something to do with a warship or a battle or war, but downgraded. So it's the opposite card of escalation, tension, escalation. It's downgraded. So downgraded war or battle related to money in some way, finances in some way. Now, the top two cards by themselves are somebody seeking assistance or help because of evidence of a scandal. Okay, so this is back related to the scandal readings. Somebody's trying to get help or assistance because they're tied up in the scandal. So whether that's one person that's already been mentioned, or whether this is somebody else, but somebody trying to get help or assistance because they're connected to the scandal. Because of the evidence there, the evidence of this scandal, they're trying to get assistance or help. Consequences done. Now, on its own, I got cyber attack sitting by itself, cyber attack. Over here, sitting by itself, we've got submarine. Something around submarine or underwater. So again, that came up in maybe even the drone reading, the second drone reading I did, the submarine or underwater came up again. Public. Coming out in the public. So something occurring underwater, coming out to the public. But it does say public life burnt out, somebody burnt out. And disappointing outcome. I was just looking at the similarities of those then. So similarities. Okay, so something about somebody in the public. They're burnt out. And it being disappointing. So people, okay, it's not clear enough. Let me pull another card on that one to see what I'm trying to say there. A disappointing outcome for a person that is in the public life that's now burnt out. Okay, anything else you can add to that? Okay. Connected to people rebelling, the uprising of people. Okay, so I think that is to do with people rebelling or uprising because they're not happy with how things are done. The disappointing outcome we've had, whether that's the health industry, because I did mention the health industry before, insurances, whatever it is, people fed up with these cards here over the disappointing way that they've been treated, comes out into the public. Burnout. Okay, I can't quite put my finger on this one. I think this one feels like I'm not quite hitting this one, what they're trying to tell me. Maybe legalities or in some way, legal situations, disappointing outcome in the public. Again, I'm feeling it could be related to the Mangione case. What the public sees, but something about it being a disappointing outcome. Maybe it's a disappointing outcome because the public's not being notified or not seeing everything. It's not in the public, so they're disappointed. There's something around this that feels either uprising of the people, fed up with the system. I'm getting the vibes from this part here, but it feels also to be that the public are not being informed about something. So whether that's related to the Mangione case or something, that's what I'm picking up here. There's issues around that. So that's in January. Either the public are not going to, they're going to be cut off, so they can't, probably to avoid an uprising or a rebellion. So stirring up the people to where people are already fed up with this system, so to prevent them from taking that any further. So maybe there's something going on here that's going to happen there with that. Now the replacing or exchanging, changes are coming. Replace or exchange. Let me see if I can pull another card for that one there. So some kind of change is coming, and they're making replacements or changes to what? To what area? Okay, for the greater good. Okay. There's a controlled narrative here about what's being said and keeping it quiet. So keeping it quiet can be related to somebody in the royal family. But I feel like they're keeping things quiet for the greater good. Trying to keep the narrative under control. Okay, so something big is happening, whether it's related to the health industry in some way. I'm saying like the WHO or the Mangione case, or something here that feels to be related to the health industry in some way. And it's like those people in that industry are trying to get a control of the narrative here. They're trying to get control of the situation for the greater good, so we know what's good for us. So to keep that control here is what I'm feeling. Now they're keeping quiet about something, not to stir a rebellion. So I don't know if these are connected, but it's the energy that I'm picking up for January, around January. Health, we see health written here. Big news around health. So health's going to be in the news, health issues going to be in the news, whether that's a new crisis, whether that's something to keep us quiet, to keep us controlled. We've got the controlled narrative there, so we've got keep quiet, keep us controlled, keep us good, for the greater good. This is good for you, so do what we say kind of energy. That's what I'm feeling here coming. But there's going to be change. It's in order to bring in changes. They're making replacements or changes to, doesn't say policies, but it's something they're making changes to something around the health industry, whether that's the WHO or that is because of what happened with the Mangione case and they're worried about the uprising of the people. They're making changes because of that. That's what I'm feeling along this line here. Now if I had to read this separately and just make sure that keep them kind of separate, I'd say that somebody that's had a disappointing outcome in public life, there's going to be an uprising around that. It feels more like what I already said, but change is coming related to health because it's sitting next to the health card. But keeping it quiet, keeping something about it quiet to control the narrative, to control the fear of the uprising, the rebellion. We do have one card that says floods and heavy rains, but next to it we've got security cameras in a big city, so footage coming forward for that. Energy doesn't feel as strong there with this energy down the bottom. Okay, some kind of problems with the wars or the battles related to money, asking for more money. So it would be maybe downgraded the amount of funding that war is getting. So downgrading the amount of money going into the military or into foreign wars here. Cyber attack sitting by itself. And somebody I think somebody seeking assistance or help, perhaps legal help around because of how they're linked to the scandal. So I think that's all we have on the table for January. Two cards that fell out over there to the edge was preparing or stocking up. I just think that preparing or stocking up means it's not everything, it's not all food, it's just being prepared for health crises. So making sure that you've got supplies in your cupboard for certain health things. It doesn't mean a complete lockdown. Maybe it is underground in hiding, could mean I don't think it's a lockdown. I'm not getting that it's a lockdown. But it's being prepared for a lockdown. So being prepared by making sure you've got enough stock of medical supplies or stock of, for us it's eggs, or when they have the bird flu, it's like the eggs vanish off the shelves. When the prepare stock up means you just need to prepare for anything, but it's related to food or supplies to do with a health crisis. Underground in hiding. So that just doesn't mean we're going underground in hiding, doesn't mean anybody's going into underground hiding, but it means that it's like preppers energy is what I'm getting here. Preppers that have their their bunkers where they stock them up and prepared full of food. Not saying we're going to use them. I'm just saying that it's like be prepared for anything in 2025. I don't think it's January, but I think, be prepared for anything. Now, the energy doesn't feel as panicky or intense, but I feel like there is definitely big news on the table, and I feel like there's definitely narratives to push us in a certain direction or keep control of the people, but I don't feel like there's anything here that's too... We've got big news and big city, so two big words, so big energy. So I cannot pinpoint where the big energy is. I can't pinpoint the thing that the big energy is going to be on. I don't know if it's related to the health, because all these cards feel health related, health industry, health crisis, health pandemic. It's all somehow a narrative, but keep in mind it says narrative. It's just to keep the people quiet for the greater good. So that is all kind of feels very narrative like to me. So don't fear, most important. Don't panic, most important. If anybody tries to say that there's a pandemic of some sort, yes, make sure you've got enough, you're prepared, make sure you've stocked up, but don't panic because it looks like it's going to be a controlled narrative. Anyway, let's see how we go with January. I'll see you again next month.